What's good, everybody? It's your man Brandon Houston, and today I'm actually excited to do my first podcast on the first subject called "This Type of Love." That's just the first segment, but hey. And the first individual we're going to do is what's your name?
Amanda Dorsey.
We're working with Amanda Dorsey, y'all. Is she beautiful? Come on now. Well, let's get to know Miss Amanda. So we already got her name. And how old are you?
I am 34 and I will be 35 years old this month.
Hey y'all.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. Early birthday, y'all. Shout out. And where are we originating? The birthplace?
Yes, so I'm from Bedford, Ohio, so a suburb of Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay, y'all. Big Cleveland, Indians, LeBron, where'd you leave us? Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. And now, what are your love aspirations? What do you achieve out of love?
Yeah, I think that what I want to achieve out of love is to love the way that Jesus loves. I want to love people with a selfless love, a love that is, just in line with the character of Christ. And that's something that I strive for. It's obviously not easy. It takes a lot of commitment and dedication towards seeking God, but that's what I really desire the way that I want to love people.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not too bad at all. Well, off to my next note here. So basically, like you said, through Christ, I think it's the same way. So seeing love in relationships.
Yeah.
Like as I see how you see it for yourself, like in a relationship aspect.
Yeah.
The same type of deal or a little something different?
Yeah, I actually follow a few. I call them like the 7 C's, and I won't go through them all, but some of them are just that Christ is central. That's a C. That we have compassion, that we have compromise, commitment, communication, and also that we honor our covenant. So that's in my married love, but even in general, in any kind of love, I want to have compassion and good communication with the people that I'm in, a healthy, relationship with, whether it's spouse or whether it's just a friendship,
Okay. That's
So,
not
yeah.
too bad to think about, especially with the friendship aspect. That's
Yeah.
good. So now, this is something a little more exciting and everything. I'd like to know, what is your favorite love when it comes to, let's say, a movie? What is your favorite go-to love movie?
You are gonna stump me, Brandon. I love stories, so I can watch
And
them.
there's a lot.
Quite a few. My favorite, good grief. Honestly, I am stumped. I can't say that there's one favorite love story, but
Okay.
I just love all rom-coms. You know what I will say? I feel like every different love story has different aspects of it that are unique and beautiful, and you can learn from everybody's different love story, even if it's a written story like a movie. I love learning from everything, whether it's a movie, whether it's real life. I just take little bits of everyone's experience, and try to bring it to my own life.
So you heard it here, guys. If you really want to know your significant other, check out the next love movie, no matter what it is. You might get somewhere. All right, man. Well, thank you very much for your information here. That was accepted, and I hope you guys love it too. We're trying something new with this one. Like I said, welcome here to This Type of Love. What's good again, y'all? Welcome back to This Type of Love. We're still doing the individuals, and right now, I got another brother on deck to tell you a little something about himself. So let's get to it. What's your name, sir?
My name is Calvin and Dorsey. Do I look at you or do I look at the camera?
Hey, brother, however you feel. If I say this is your type of love, you look at me with that kind of holy brotherly passion, and you look at them, let them know, hey, this love is coming from Calvin Dorsey, by the way.
So yeah, my name is Calvin Dorsey.
And how old are you?
I'm 37.
37, okay. Hey, the big 7 now. Okay. And now, what's our birthplace? Where we grew up at?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Hey, I told y'all, we want this love, we want LeBron's love back too. Okay. And now, let me ask you this. What are let's say, what's your like a love aspiration that you would say?
A love aspiration.
Yeah. Little encouragement, something like that. I guess I can lower it down like that.
Okay. It's an interesting question. What you mean by love aspiration? Is it something like I aspire to, or?
Aspire type of like a love thing, all that type of deal, or it's something that you might sing and be like, I don't know why this inspired love to me, or I felt love from this.
Oh, okay.
And this is coming from you.
I mean, personally, it's weird. I guess I don't know. I guess if I answer it in the whole way, when I think of love, or what I aspire for love, I always think of sacrifice. I love the word of God when he says this is how we know love is when he gave his life for us on the cross. And so I think sacrifice and giving of oneself is a great example of love. So, yeah.
All right now. Sacrificing that limb now. Come on. All right. And now something, this was a little similar as I've noticed. Now, how would you say that you see love through your own eyes, or like how do you see it like through other relationships, or just relationships period?
How do I see love? These are some very abstract. I'm trying to think of because you can answer them kind of any way. If I see love in another relationship it's just when two people are committed toward one another, when two people are committed toward their relationship, committed toward their partnership and seeing it through and honoring it before God and sticking to their commitments toward one another. And so if you see a couple that's able to do that, then they have mastered what you would consider love, I guess.
When you say them vows, they mean something. All right, I agree with that. Nice. So now this one is a little more fun to ask right here. Let's say your favorite type of love song. What's like your number one go-to love song?
My favorite love song. I'm trying to think what comes to my mind. It's generally anything off of love songs I love. I love anything off John Legend's first album. Generally some of my favorite music. I don't know if I could pick one song. One of my favorite lyrics that I love is Cloud 9. I love that.
Okay.
Huge old school guy, so I love some Temptations. Anything coming out of Motown. Anything Temptations wrote on love, I think. My Girl, those classics and stuff like that, yeah.
Talking about, come on now. All right then. Well guys, you heard it here. Mr. Calvin Dorsey, he gave us this type of love from his perspective. And we'll be back with the two of them. Hit the powder in the face.
I like my hair color.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hello again, y'all. Welcome back to This Type of Love. Now, you done heard them individually. Now, let's do the questions with the couples once here. All right, guys. Now, once again, we have Mr.
Calvin
Dorsey, and we have Mrs.
Amanda Dorsey.
And they are the Dorseys. Okay. So we're going to start this off with the first question, of course, and it's going to say, what do you guys call this relationship? Or better yet, what do you guys call this marriage?
Well, we are just a covenant before Christ, and we've entered into that covenant of marriage, right now.
What she said.
All right, okay. So, then we go off right here. How did you guys meet?
We met, how long ago was that? Actually before that, I think 20-something years, over 20 years ago. The first time I met her was, I saw her with a friend at a basketball game. That was the first time I seen her. That was the first time I met her. Was introduced to her. She was dating another gentleman at the time. And,
I'm lucky him, huh?
and I was introduced to him then, and introduced to her and her friend. And then she came across her couple years later, and she was single. And as they say, I shot my shot. And then I guess the rest was history after that, I guess.
Mind you, he shot a shot at the video store. When they had video stores, it'll show you that'll age us.
DVD.
Yeah, might have been VHS. No,
Not the load.
He shot a shot at the video store. My mom was there. He asked my mom if he could, approach me, and it was very endearing the way that he went about it, and we dated for some time, and yeah, we remained friends all those years until we got back together. We had broken up. We got back together, got engaged, and the rest of that is history.
Okay then. Look right now, we got the two couple meeting love the way they met up. So now, let me ask you guys this. Why are you guys together?
Why are we together? Because we love one another.
Yeah, I mean, we love one another. Well,
I don't know, I like to give details. What about you? Do you like to give details here?
Maybe I don't have any details.
oh my God!
Hey, listen, hey, when you together, that's what it is. Hey, look, you saw how we met now, and we got married, that was it. We stuck up in there.
Right.
Okay, we together.
It's because we love one another, and we were brought together. We feel that God brought us together to be able to create something beautiful together. He's like,
I like her say that. What she said. No, yeah, I've always held to, I think I love the word of God says about the word of God says, a man finds a wife finds a good thing. I found a good thing, and I married that good thing. So, yeah.
All right now, love and happiness. All right now this one is something that I actually came across off of a book, actually, which I started to learn more about my own self. But it's something called, and shout out to them, it's called the 5 Love Languages. And right here, I actually want to see what are your guys' 2 when it comes to that. So I'll start with you, Calvin. What are your 2 love languages out of this? Words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, or even physical touch?
Mine are acts of service and receiving gifts.
Why is that?
Yeah, I have no clue. Yeah.
And look, just get the work done and then thank me with a nice present. That's what it is.
Yeah, no, I think if you've read the book, the premise is that I guess the ideology is that people have a certain set of things that make them up, and they generally feel most love or feel most affection when those 2 type of attributes or characteristics, whatever you want to call them, are done. And so, yeah, but I don't know why they exist the way they exist. But yeah, those are 2 from that list that I feel the most amount of affection from out of that list.
well, because they fit your personality.
Yeah.
Okay. And now, Ms. Amanda,
Yeah.
what would be your 2? I'll run them off again instead. Words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch.
So my 2 fit my personality best are words of affirmation and quality time.
Okay.
That is the book that we read earlier on in our marriage, just to try to understand how to show each other love better. And it's wildly helpful. It's very helpful in helping you understand how to actually serve and love your partner well, versus what you think they might want, and what you think they might need. It helps you to know, okay, this is what they really want and need. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I want to get to something, not saying this has have to be just so bad, but like, any difficulties in this relationship, marriage?
Of course.
Yeah, I think our relationship have conflict. I think any healthy relationship has conflict. What makes something unhealthy is how you deal with that conflict. And so, yeah, we definitely, I think the number one root of all, what's the word, conflict or all disagreement are unmet expectations. And so people, we generally have expectations. I have expectations of what I think a marriage should be. I have expectations of what I think a husband should be, or a wife, or a parent, a household. And so when those expectations don't get met, you get conflict, and you just got to figure out ways to get past that conflict in a healthy manner. In order for things to grow or to get stronger, they must tear. It's the same thing when you work out your body. Your muscles have to tear in order to grow. Joints have to break and move and all these different things so you can become healthy. And so yeah, we have conflict like anybody else. Yeah. So yeah.
And for us, communication is a way that we work through it, and healthy communication. And that is something that we definitely learned through the process of our marriage. When we first got together, it was very bumpy and we were trying to figure it out. But yeah, if you're committed to one another and you want to stay together, you have to figure those things out, and you do. You find a better way to communicate and love one another.
And then I'm gonna end it off with this right here. And Calvin, I'll start off. Actually, I'll start with you, Amanda, this time. Okay, 2 tips for relationships right now. Any advice that you can give to little things that you can give out there.
Well, I think that it is helpful to be open and honest, know where that person stands, know what their expectations are, know where you both are comfortable compromising, because no one is going to, be exactly the same. You have to compromise to make a relationship work, healthy compromise. Things that, be open and okay with having the same values. And I think that comes through, again, that commitment and that communication, being able to see it through and don't give up. A lot of couples give up before they really have a chance to see themselves overcome some adversity, because you'll always have adversity. But if you have that commitment and you're dedicated to it, you'll see it through. And again, we do put Christ at the center of everything. That's not an afterthought for us. That is our first priority. If we aren't seeking to be like Jesus, we're not going to be the best for each other. We're just going to kind of be going through life and through this relationship. So, yeah.
Calvin, what are your 2 advice that you can give to people?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think if I answered it in a very I'm one of these people that's always very analyzing and reanalyzing and looking at the things and constantly reformulating my opinion. And so what I think are the 2 most valuable things at 37 is not what I thought at 36, and not the same thing I thought at 35, and they won't be. And so it's weird for me. I say all that to say is because I don't even know how to answer that question, because I feel like maybe I'll answer that question best when I'm on my deathbed. When I've made it through 90 years of being okay, I thought that worked, and that didn't work, and that worked, and we thought that didn't work. My biggest out of that is to sound like Solomon at the end of his life is, and all you do is trust the Lord. I think trusting in the Lord is huge for relationships. That's the one solid thing that I feel like hasn't changed year after year. Seek Him in it, and keep Him above a lot of things. Understand that He is first. Seek the Lord in all things. That's probably the most constant thing. Every relationship looks different. Every healthy relationship looks different. I've seen healthy relationships look vastly different than another set of healthy relationships, and people are happily married for 70 years, and people, and and I've seen people who appear perfect, last 4 years. So like you just never know. I think seeking the Lord is one of the constants is some of the people I admire, seek the Lord, but they also, I'll say this, is the second piece is outside of seeking the Lord would be, is seeking the best interests of your partner. I don't think any relationship, even if it's not a marriage or partnership, can exist or thrive if they're both not seeking the best interests of one another. And so, and that may seem like that should be obvious. But human beings are some very selfish creatures. And so we don't always seek the best interests of others. We often, as the Word of God says, it says, look out for the interests of others. And we often look out for our own interests over the interests of our partners or other people. And so if I had to say those two at 37 would be, is to put the interests of your partner above yours, and seek the Lord above all. Yeah.
Alrighty there. Well, guys, I will say this. My brother did mess up because we got some good questions from these two couples, but I did skip the first very one. So I'd actually like to go back to ask them this. But no, thank you for what you guys have already said so far right now. This is actually very good. But I think I will actually start off with you again, Amanda. What are two good traits about yourself that you would say?
Oh, that's
Or two
so
traits
analyzing. Thank you. Well, I would say that one thing that I enjoy about the way that God formed me is I enjoy being an encourager. So I think that that's a good trait because I know how to encourage my spouse and I enjoy just encouraging people in general. No matter that be their dreams, their gifts, if they're having a bad day. I love to encourage people. And then I would say that another good trait, I think it's my loyalty. Calvin says that I am loyal to a fault, but I think that when I am set on seeing something through, I am very loyal to that person or that vision or whatever it is. I'm very dedicated, and it takes a lot to break me away when my mind is set on something.
All right now, Mr. Cheating. All right. Well, and I'm only going to do this for just one. What would be one red flag of yours? What is something that you know I do struggle in this area?
Yeah. I struggle with, quite a lot of things. I would say I can be selfish at times. And that is something that in our marriage, I've always had to learn to try to put myself, last or put him first in areas where I would, just in myself want to be selfish. Yeah.
Let's say that's self-analyzing something you get a chance to know, so that's not too bad. Well, God, I'm being the same with you as well. What are two good quality traits about yourself?
Two good quality traits. Since you asked her, I had time to think about it. So yeah, my two, I would say if I could hone it in, would just be, I'm a good studier. I research and I study well. And the second thing is I galvanize people together well. I generally do very good at bringing people together for a single cause.
Sandusky Light. Hey. All right then. And what would you say one red flag about yourself?
Red flag about oneself. I probably could go down a list of them. So it's hard to pick out the top one. And I can go off a couple. I'll just say one of my biggest things is fear. fear of the expectations, being a person who, I mean, not fear of expectations, that is something else too, but fear of the unknown. Sometimes for me, like I'm not a worrier. I don't worry about things, but it is something like I research very well because I research so I can actually kind of predict the outcomes of stuff. And so I'm not shocked by pretty much anything half the time. But even knowing how much I love to research and study and look at trends and look at history and look at patterns and things of that sort, I know that the only person who knows all is God. And so there's a level of unknown that you just don't know. And so because of that, I operate sometimes in places of fear over faith. And I don't like that about myself. And then that tells into the other thing is sometimes I can over-focus or hyper-focus on certain things. Like I can hyper-focus on something to where I get tunnel vision and I don't see anything else around except for that thing, that mission, that goal. And until that's completed, I can't move out of another thing. And in life, you don't have to be able to be good at it, but you must be able to multitask. That is a must. Yeah.
Well, guys, on my behalf, I am glad to finally do my first podcast on one of my first segments with my first couple that I wanted to do it with, called This Type of Love, from once again, the Dorseys, Mr. Calvin and Miss Amanda. And it's been your man, Brandon Houston. And thank you for listening to This Type of Love, and I can't wait to hear the rest of your guys' story. Can we all say deuces? Deuces.